Good morning, good people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, people of my country, things are about to get juicy now. Yes, so what's going on? Yes, Chamisa calling the shots. Mnangagwa submits to SADC. Yes, so Zimbabwe disputed President Emerson Mnangagwa has revealed that main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa is actually calling the shots on what's happening in Zimbabwe. Yes, a lot of you can say Chamisa is not the opposition leader, but if we talk about opposition, we all think about Chamisa. That's why we say main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa. Yes, so in a 30-page document Mnangagwa submitted to SADC, received by the regional bloc on the 3rd of April 2024, the disputed Zimbabwe President Emerson Mnangagwa is seeking to convince SADC to set aside fresh elections in Zimbabwe, as the political situation in Zimbabwe does not warrant that. Yes. So President Mnangagwa, whose election is in dispute, submitted to SADC in a 3rd-page document that he is talking with the main he said he has been talking with the main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa on the way forward after the disputed elections. So this is what Mnangagwa is saying to SADC. He's telling SADC that he is in talks with Chamisa, so they should not held elections or proceed with the rerun in Zimbabwe. That's his idea. But are they talking, Nelson Chamisa and Mnangagwa? No, I'm not sure about that, because Chamisa said yesterday, it's game on. Do you know that the giant Goliath was defeated by David, the God header, and a mere shepherd? So it's game on. What does that mean? Something is going on. When you see someone being that confident and say it's game on, it simply means something is going on in the background. But all that is not visible to the public, to the civilians, to the general citizen. We are really not sure what's going on in the background, but I tell you, something is going to happen very, very, very soon. You just have to hang on. So strangely, Mnangagwa reveals that Chamisa has since agreed to allow Mnangagwa to finish this disputed term as the president of Zimbabwe. Guys, this is what Mnangagwa is saying in his 3rd-page document, which was submitted to SADC. This has changed everything in SADC. The fact that the main opposition leader and disputed Mnangagwa are talking takes the mark off the SADC shoulder, So we reported last in November 2023, after the SADC extraordinary meeting head of state and government on November in Launda, which was convened to discuss Zimbabwe, among other things, that SADC would be happy to facilitate government of national unity in Zimbabwe if the main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa was genuinely buying it. So the disputed Zimbabwe President Mnangagwa submitted to SADC that there was no need really for fresh elections in Zimbabwe, because the main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa has since agreed to allow Mnangagwa to finish his 2nd term in office. So in the 3rd-page document, his 3rd-page document, Mnangagwa submits to SADC that Chamisa is calling the shots. Chamisa is the one who is calling the shots, but they are now in discussion. They are talking, and possibly they can have a GNU, but he has agreed Mnangagwa to finish his 2nd term. How far true is that? We are not really sure if Mnangagwa is telling the truth about that. But as Chamisa said, it's game on. What game if he allows Mnangagwa to finish the term? So in his submission, Mnangagwa points out that soon after the disputed election results were announced, Chamisa gathered his top officials to deliberate on the way forward. It submitted that the Citizen Coalition for Change top brass agreed that they would not seek recourse in Zimbabwe courts as the courts are controlled by ZANU-PF. They instead resolved to start campaigning for fresh elections to be held in Zimbabwe. They, however, were divided on mass protests, with half fearing a reckless ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa would go wild like they did in 2008. It is at the meeting that Nelson Chamisa is said to have voted the resolution by his top executive to flood the streets in the mass protests against the rigging of the August plebiscite last year. Chamisa told his top officials they would not engage in mass protests as that was dangerous. He told them the CCC would pursue a dialogue with Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF. He told them since ZANU-PF has approached the national issues with an X hidden behind the CC, would let love lead and would start engaging Mnangagwa. That is what is being said now. That Chamisa didn't want protests. He feared for his people, so he said he was going to handle this in a peaceful manner, having a dialogue with Mnangagwa, So many CCC top officials were taken aback by this approach by Chamisa, who was their presidential candidate in the disputed August plebiscite last year. They wanted to flood the streets. So it's not the divisions in the opposition that are important to SADC, but SADC wants the Zimbabwe leadership, both ruling and opposition, to be on one side. SADC indeed received correspondence from the Zimbabwe opposition leader Nelson Chamisa seeking SADC to facilitate a dialogue between the opposition and the ZANU-PF, and that's not say the submissions are with SADC. We do have it on good authority that the Zimbabwe main opposition leader Nelson Chamisa is not interested in fresh elections to be held in Zimbabwe. Chamisa says he wants a dialogue with the disputed President Emmerson Mnangagwa so that they can find each other as Zimbabweans. You see, but I believe that the fresh elections are the way forward. The fresh elections are the way forward. If they are being conducted by SADC, if they are being conducted by AU, and we leave ZEC out of it. If ZANU-PF wins. If CCC wins. We want free and fair elections. We don't care who wins. What we want is free and fair, transparent elections. Period. All that from Nelson Chamisa himself should convince SADC that there is an element of truth and sincerity in Mnangagwa's submission to SADC, which sought the regional bloc to set aside their fresh elections in Zimbabwe. The Zimbabwe leadership is on the same page. Disputed President Mnangagwa does not want fresh elections in Zimbabwe, and submissions from Nelson Chamisa himself do not mention fresh elections in Zimbabwe. Those submissions from Chamisa are asking SADC to facilitate dialogue between the opposition and ZANU-PF and SADC. SADC should be happy with the scenario. Our Harare Zimbabwe correspondent reports that there has been talk in Zimbabwe that Mnangagwa and Chamisa, who share the same tribe as Karangas, reached a gentleman's agreement that Mnangagwa would not be disturbed by another Karanga, Chamisa, who would allow Mnangagwa to finish his disputed term as the president. So according to the submissions to SADC by Mnangagwa, it's quite clear Chamisa and Mnangagwa agreed in principle to something to the effect of that what the submission are revealing holds water. The massive irregularities with disqualified the elections as failing to meet the regional SADC bloc guidelines and principles of a democratic election. SADC actually feared a violent mass protest in Zimbabwe. It's important to note that after the SEOM report on Zimbabwe elections said the election fell short of a revised SADC guidelines, principles, and democratic election, SADC immediately initiated its internal due process. But at the same time, the opposition in Zimbabwe was in a self-imposed limbo. that was disturbing on the part of SADC. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa saw that loophole and confronted SADC, aligning the regional bloc was now attempting to destabilize Zimbabwe. He pointed out that if there was a problem in Zimbabwe with the past elections, it's the Zimbabwe opposition that had to lead the charge and not SADC. The main Zimbabwean opposition leader Nelson Chamisa is saying he wants a dialogue with the disputed President Mnangagwa. He is not talking about fresh elections in Zimbabwe. It's important to make this point that in October 23, Chamisa submitted to SADC that they as the CCC wanted fresh elections to resolve the political crisis in Zimbabwe. You reported it well in your publication, but by January 2024, Nelson Chamisa submitted to SADC, and this time he has shifted from his earlier position. He was now asking for a regional bloc to facilitate a dialogue between the opposition, him, Chamisa, and ZANU-PF Mnangagwa. So the Zimbabwe political quagmire has indeed left the people of Zimbabwe in limbo and suffering as the two elephants are fighting. That is what's going on right now as we speak. You know, we really don't know what's going on in the background, and it's crazy how these people make such bold decisions, and we can't even know about that. At the end of the day, you see there is a dialogue, there is a GNU, or there are fresh elections, but as Zimbabweans, they have every right to know what's going on because they are the ones who participated in the elections. So I think it would be fair if SADC could update Zimbabweans on what's going on than just to move in silence and make decisions for Zimbabweans while they don't even know what they are doing. Tell us what you think about this. Do you really think Chamisa wants a dialogue or he wants fresh elections? And do you think that we are going to have fresh elections in Zimbabwe, or it's going to be a GNU, or we are waiting for 2028? Tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Stay charged.